it's a trait of very successful people, and maybe not monetarily successful, but successful in the relationships and everything else that comes along with being a person.
Yeah. Well, it's blind faith, right? I mean,
fucking hey, is it?
And then it's this, but it's the same kind of trait that happens whether you're a professional athlete or whether you're the iron worker, the steel worker, or the nurse or the first responder. Like, you get up and you know exactly what you need to do to get ready for the mission. And the mission, like, you're not always in the game, but you still have to wake up and work out and get your ass ready to be a part of the game.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're back. Taking it over 2 weeks in a row. The No Fallen Heroes Max Afterburner podcast, episode 76. I'm joined by Commodore Daniel Carcillo. It's Banks. We're coming hot from Wiz's seat again.
Damn, that was way better than mine last week. Wiz did not like my intro when we showed him.
Guess what? We're putting the fucking ladder down.
Oh, always.
It's here.
Always. I don't know about you, but I'm still buzzing from the day that we had at the hangar. So maybe we start there, unpack that a little bit.
Dude, I've been so lucky to do some really cool things in my life. I don't know, like, what you can really compare those jet days to.
I mean, that was cool just because we had Kyle Quincy there, who I played with and against in the NHL. Bugsy Malone, Ryan Malone, his father drafted me to the Penguins, so that was cool to see him. We had Dustin Lynch there, country music star, Sheldon.
On tour right now?
Yeah, a few investors that came up and donated money to Wiz's foundation, which every penny goes to helping save lives of first responders and veterans. And I mean, my wife sometimes gets mad at me. She's like, you get to do, like, you really call that work?
Buddy, welcome to the party.
Yeah, and I'm like, and so hi to Lauren and Ella, our beautiful wives who've given us a beautiful life and beautiful children and allowed us the freedom to be able to go and do these things. But yeah, that it doesn't feel like work, but I mean, I don't know about you, but I feel extremely blessed to be able to just be surrounded by just a really solid group of people, and we tend to keep a small circle, you know, so
it's unbelievable. And like seeing, these aren't people that are struggling a lot of the times, right? Like, these are people that have access and means to do some of the most amazing things that a person can do on this earth. And when they get back and the lid off of that jet comes off and you see that childlike grin on their face, dude, that honestly might be as cool as flying, because like, how impactful that was. Like, and there's nothing to compare it to. You're probably not going to do anything like that ever again. It's sick to be there.
But with the means comes the trickle-down effect of being able to use the funds that they donated to go experience the thing so that a life that doesn't have the means can get impacted. Yeah, so that's how it all works. I know that we talked about this on Wiz's podcast. I think it was episode 74, and he had a couple people in the comments talking about, well, capitalism's bad. And, well, if it is, and we're not helping some of these people have these types of experiences and they donate their hard-earned money and the money is extremely hard-earned, then the people that don't have the means don't get to experience that same life-saving treatment.
Yeah, and like, honestly, I think that's one of the things that doesn't probably come up a lot. Like, foundations like No Fallen Heroes, think about this. Let's just say they're doing a couple dozen people a year. Think about all the people that's impacting, the families, the friends, the coworkers, like the touch. You're really touching thousands of people by taking a couple of dozen people for treatment. And it's only through those things that happens.
That's a great point. And I mean, Susie was there. There were a few family members. Matt was there. His son
just ripping around,
and like we had the cold tubs there from Glacier Plunge that were donated, and Matt toughed it out. What did he do? You think 90 seconds?
Oh,
No?
dude, I had him pegged. He did 5.
He did 5 minutes?
He did 5.
He was complaining about it the whole time, though.
No, he chilled out the last like minute and a half. I mean, a little shaky.
Yeah, I think he chipped a few teeth.
but he got it done.
Yeah, no doubt. And he was ripping us around on the golf carts, and
So sick watching them take off like that.
it was pretty fun. Pretty fun. Quincy, so Kyle has had some like concussion history, etc. And we forgot to brief Matt on it, and he got back. We're like, the first thing that we always ask is like, well, did you throw up? Did you use the throw up bag? A couple guys did when they landed, surprisingly. And Quincy's like, oh, yeah, I passed out like 5 times. Wiz is like, what? I'm like, oh, yeah, I forgot to tell you. He's had like 18 concussions. So hopefully he's doing better. but yeah, no, it was a pretty amazing day.
The cold tubs, we didn't have that when we went and flew.
No.
And man, what a difference. Like seeing those guys come out and just go right in and just watching that kind of like, 'cause I don't think a lot of people realize you really cannot prepare for what the feeling is while you're up there. But then when you're back down,
It's like your legs are noodles.
the adrenaline dump when you're back, like it is unlike anything that I think most people will ever experience.
It's cool to see cold tubs being utilized. Professional athletes, obviously, we use those since we were 13 years old. So they were in every single away room, every single home room. Even if we were semi-pro, had a hot tub and a cold tub. So we would always do cold tub transfers. And for people that don't know, the science behind it is cold immersion, and then into a hot transfer. So you're always trying to triple up. So if you do 3 minutes in the cold, think of doing 1 minute in the hot. The reason I like the hot cold transfer is you can actually feel the lactic acid and the inflammation that we build up either from a flight or from a long run or from, me beating you in pickle or or a long bike ride. Is you then feel this lactic acid burn off, and you are immediately transformed back into being able to like go and repeat it. We used to do it all the time in intermissions and stuff. Obviously, after games, it's a great tool to use as soon as you wake up, because as you're sleeping, you're building up this gunk, and it can really start your day. And it's being utilized now as a tool, less about talking about like the lactic acid and how your body feels, but submerging yourself in pain. Doing something that it just basically sucks, really can start your day off the right way.
There isn't enough suck left in the world anymore.
There isn't. No, it's gotten very soft. Yeah, this narrative that
everything has to be easy
and everything's feminized, even for men. It's not right. I think it's wrong. And I'm hopeful that we're able to, build a community and then help show young men the way. Because there is a way to get better. I think the number 2 cause of death for men in between, I think it's 16 to 35, is suicide. And we've talked about this before. Why is that happening? I believe it's because there's this no kind of coming of age ceremony, and that we have some young men that are a little bit lost, and that they don't have examples of a community to follow
and purpose
yeah. I mean, that's the coming of age piece, right? And so then how do you find these communities? And if you find this community, what does some of these communities do? Some of these communities just meet. They just meet once a week, and it could be as simple as at the gym. Could be
fishing, hiking, riding bicycles,
working out. And if you can't find these communities, then find the individual that is your friend, and then create one. Right? It could be as simple as putting the bikes at the guy's house, rollerblading, some type of sport.
Let's go shooting.
I mean, if you like books, do a book club. It could be anything. So I guess what we're trying to say, or what I'm trying to say, is find your niche. Figure out who you are as a person, what you like to do, and then create community around that.
Yeah, I think that's it's really weird, right? Because I remember being a kid, and I remember my computer teacher being like, I don't think all of you guys realize how lucky you are and how connected you're going to be because of this internet and because of this computer. And it's actually done the opposite. It's disconnected people from relationships, reality. It's a strange thing.
Yeah, it can be used for good.
Of course.
And then it can inundate you if you're on the wrong side of the algorithm with just exactly how weak they want you to think you are. Just exactly how depressed and anxious you should be. I saw the best quote, Duncan Trussell, on Joe Rogan. He said,
a waterfall?
Hilarious, right? But the quote is amazing, amazingly impactful. You know, there's some sorry asshole sitting by a waterfall in the middle of nature without his phone, not understanding just how depressed and anxious he should be because he can't see his phone and it doesn't. And I think we get lost. There's 8 billion people in the world. There's only 300 or 400 million people using these social tools. There's even less of those people actually communicating on them and talking. So I think that sometimes we think that the snapshot of the social media is what everybody in the world thinks, and it's not. It's just a very select minority. And hopefully you're on the right side of the algo where it's trying to empower you, where it's trying to show you what you need to do. And what I always say to people is qualify these people that you're listening to. You have to qualify them. Why would you listen to me? Or why would you listen to you? Why would you listen to me? I'll qualify myself right now. I fought 164 times. I dedicated myself to a sport at a very young age, and I was extremely disciplined, and I woke up every goddamn day and did that for almost 19 years. And if you saw my routine, most people in this world wouldn't be able to do it for a week. You know, and that's why people look up to me and they respect me and they respected what I did, because it was extremely hard, but I was able to put myself through that, and I was able to win two world championships and call myself a small part of a team that was the best hockey team in the world. But golly, there was like so much pain and suffering with that. The reason I respect you, and you should give yourself some due, and I think the reason people follow you is because you've done the same, but in business. You know, in the capital markets, which is not as, God, I think it's honestly harder. It's harder mentally. It was really hard on me, you know, over the last 3 years. And if we didn't have our friendship and I wasn't able to like rely on you, man, I don't know. I don't think I would have been able to keep it together.
Yeah,
you know?
It's, you know, I posted that thing on my Instagram the other day, that Dana White quote, where you see people, you know, whether it's athletes or whether it's executives, they're like, oh my God, I want that. And it's like, dude, 99.9% of people, you don't want that.
You have no fucking clue what it takes to get that.
The sacrifices that you have to make mentally, physically, to your family, to your friends, like, I don't think most people appreciate like what that is, but that gets back to the purpose, right?
Yeah.
You need to have that. I found like really highly motivated people, and like, I'm not even talking like an executive at a company. Like, some of my most impactful mentors were people that went to work from 9 to 5 every day. They were working at the steel mill. They were iron workers. Like, my mom's a waitress. Like, every single day, no matter what, like, this is what we do. This is how we provide for our family. It was that purpose that I think, you know, it's a trait of very successful people. And maybe not monetarily successful, but successful in the relationships and everything else that comes along with being a person.
Yeah. Well, it's blind faith, right? I mean,
fucking hey, is it?
You know, and then it's the same kind of trait that happens whether you're a professional athlete or whether you're the iron worker, the steel worker, or the nurse, or the first responder. Like, you get up and you know exactly what you need to do to get ready for the mission. And the mission, like, you're not always in the game, but you still have to wake up and work out and get your ass ready to be a part of the game should somebody else get hurt, so the opportunity always isn't there, but you have to just be mentally and physically sound and spiritually sound to be ready for the opportunity. Because I played on the fourth line a lot, and I was in and out of the lineup a lot, and this is something that's really hard to learn. And you get frustrated and you get sad and you get down on yourself. But there's this whole mental battle that has to happen where you have to just understand that, like, if I'm down right now and I'm frustrated and somebody gets hurt in the game and I didn't just go through a rigorous workout, I'm not going to, and I get that shot, all I'm going to be thinking about is the guilt that I have for not putting myself and being ready for that next opportunity. And you never know when it's going to happen.
And that's the same in life, right? Like, I see people that are just like, listen, I just show up just to show up so I can get a paycheck. And it's like, dude, why would you not put in 110% every day, learn about the pieces of business you're not currently doing? Because, dude, you don't know what's going to happen to your manager, your boss, the owner of the company. Like, there's always going to need to be that next guy. It's the next guy up.
Or if you're just going through it like a zombie, figure out what you like, get home, and then work on that. Like, do the thing that makes you excited. You know?
Dude, it's so easy. Like, and I've seen that so many times, just friends, family, like, it's so easy if you hate your job and you hate your life to go home, start drinking beer, eating shitty food, like watching TV.
Dude, that happens with professional athletes. I've went through it and I saw it. It's not just for the civilian. Like, that can happen in your hockey career. It happened to me because it's so easy and it's so automatic that there's ways to cheat and there's ways to get by. And then if you're cheating and you're guilty, then you start getting the injuries. Like, all of my injuries came within the first 5 years of my career when I was like running hard on and off the ice. My last 5 years was when I cleaned my act up and, I started treating myself with respect and I started to get ready for the opportunity all the time. That's when I had 4 cracks at trying to win the Stanley Cup, But those first 5 years, like, man, I was like, I guess you could call me depressed for sure, looking back on it. And I was just cheating myself and everybody else around me. But the results were there. Like, you could see it, And so it's not just for the workers, the 9 to 5. Like, it trickles. We're all human. Yeah. And so these are all symptoms and conditions of the human experience, regardless if you're looked at and held up on a pedestal or because of the thing. The only reason that I view why athletes are like so renowned is because they're willing to go through the shit that 99.8% of the people in this world are just not willing to do. And we're willing to do it consistently over a very long period of time. And I'm like, what is that? What is that type of psychology, of people that just kind of almost enjoy it? It's almost like a sickness.
Yeah, it's weird. We're talking about success. I'm really excited to see like what this next generation, because like when we grew up, dude, you didn't really see like the dark side of success or fame or any of these things, like, and the struggles that people go through to maintain what is required in order to achieve a certain level of whatever you're doing. Mm-hmm. Now when you see a lot of these athletes talk about like their mental health, like, dude, could you imagine Michael Jordan coming out and being like, I'm not feeling it today, man. Like, I've had a bad day. I've had a bad couple of weeks. Some reporters wrote some bad stories about me. Like, I'm a little thrown off now. Could you imagine that?
It's strange. I think that there's a lot of just really dangerous narratives out there. Like, with my son and even with my daughters, like today we rode our bikes. My youngest daughter was like, I don't want to ride. I'm like, you're going to ride the bike. You're going to do the thing you don't want to. And it's very easy. It's like right down the street. And Austin, you're going to do the 25 push-ups a day if you want to play the sport, if you want the new shoes, if you want the things that you continually ask me, then you have to give me what I want, which is put them through a little bit of suffering. Because if I don't do that in my own house and then they go out into this world,
everything's soft and easy.
Dude, dog eat dog. Yeah. You're still going to have to compete with me. My son and your son, think about this. If we want to stay in business, they're still going to have to compete with me and you in the work field, in entrepreneurship. Yeah. Good fucking luck. Like, we would chew them, most of the kids, we would chew these kids up and spit them out because they haven't been tested within their own walls. And so they just don't have the tools. They're not equipped with the right things to be able to deal with that blind faith and committing yourself to that type of discipline day in, morning, night. It's just, I don't think it's there. If people are listening to the algorithm, that these are all ifs,
and I think that's a cultural thing too, because I've noticed, like, just from traveling different places, like, the softness isn't there. My brother just came back from Japan, and he was like, dude, there's like 6-7-year-old kids riding by themselves on the subway. He was like, it was the craziest thing I've ever seen. I'm like, yeah, dude, because the parents are probably working or doing something. They're like, listen, you need to go figure it out.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah. And I say all of this, and there's probably a lot of people on here that are like, well, that we might be like a little callous, or we might be a little rough. But that's the way you have to be. Like, I lived my life when I was suicidal, when I was most depressed, and when I was most anxious, was when I was okay sitting in this victim mindset of me having the concussions because of the league, being sad that the friends were gone, and I just was not taking ownership of my role in it. And I was blaming everybody else. And I see it around me all the time. And this type of attitude that I'm never going to fall into, but I don't want other people to fall into that. I don't, and I see it, and you see it all around us, but that's what some industries, and that's what these establishments want. They want us weak and almost fighting our own selves, because we then aren't awake enough to the fact of, you can fucking change your own life. You can take control of your own life at any given moment. You can make the decision to change. And then it's just putting one step in front of the other. You don't have to bike 8.5 miles. Like, my parents are down from Canada. It's just getting up, putting your shoes on, and walking around the block. And that could be the start, and I guess that's the ultimate. It's not about, it's just trying, again, to just empower people to take that first step, man. And that first step could be a thought, and then act on it.
I had a conversation with somebody from the UK 2 days ago, and he was like, the last couple of times I've been to the US, he's like, it's kind of weird. I was like, what do you mean? He was like, well, like, when I was growing up, he's like, TVs, movies, he was like, that American culture, like, listen, you can be whatever you want to be. As long as you're willing to work for it, you can have it here. Yeah. Like, and he's like, when I come over here, he was like, I feel like people are always looking for free shit. He was like, it's really like, he was like, I guess my cultural perception. I was like, dude, I don't know, man. I was like, I'm only in my 30s. And I was like, when I was growing up, like, everybody that I ever met, like, that was it. Like, they knew they could have whatever they wanted as long as they worked for it, whether it was through education or whether it was through work.
I still feel like that's here, though. I still feel like it's here, and those aren't the people wasting their fucking time on social media. I really do feel like that foundation still exists. I could be wrong.
People still, listen, there's millions of people trying to come here every single year. Yeah. I mean, that's definitely the truth. I mean, it's a little bit more difficult now, whether it's through taxes or the cost of living or things like that. I mean, that's changed a little bit. But yeah, I mean.
Do you think those natives that think like we are, that are still training their kids, and these kids still might be enlisting in the army, et cetera, like, they're not, I don't think they're the people on Instagram or Twitter talking about everything that's wrong. I don't think that's, not. So I still think it exists. Again, it goes back to that representation of what we see. That's not a true representation of the whole country. Yeah. It's just not. Or the whole world, for that matter.
Bro, one of my best friends growing up in Buffalo, we got together over the summer when we took our family trip, and he had a cell phone. Dude.
The kid?
No. My buddy Mike, 33 years old. Yeah. Or never, ever had a cell phone. Okay. No Facebook, no Instagram.
Legend.
Dude, he was like one of the only people
He's probably so well adjusted.
Dude, he's fucking great, dude. Because he doesn't live in that fucking social media bubble. Like, I was like, dude, it's so gnarly you have a cell phone. He's like, I still don't have social media. He was like, so.
Really? Yeah. See, like, if my kids want a cell phone, happily give it to them, but it's a flip phone.
Yeah, that's smart.
Yeah, dude. Happily give it to you. You want one at 13, 14? Sure. All your friends have one. Yeah. You're not getting a screen. You only need it to call and text.
Remember pagers?
Oh, dude, the best. 911. Boo, boo.
Give me a little dingle.
Oh, dude. Do you remember? I mean, I'm a little bit older than you, but do you remember timing the music?
Yeah, of
with
course,
with the
dude.
DJ,
Yeah.
and he would always talk into the song, Cashmere, and it's like, oh, shut up, and then you bang it and you record it and you try to burning CDs, ICQ. I mean, I remember times where we didn't have the internet.
Dude, I remember. Listen, I didn't get a lot of ass whoopings in my life, but I'll never forget the time I downloaded LimeWire to burn CDs.
LimeWire.
And I fucked up the family computer.
Oh yeah, dude, I put so many viruses. Even like up until like 4 years ago, I was still putting viruses on these computers. I was like, what is wrong with you? I was like, oh, this looks interesting. Yeah,
I believe
Let's
that.
tap that. So, I mean, obviously, rabbit hole number one. But I think it gives people a decent view into our thinking and the people that listen to this podcast and the people that enlist and the people that could be suffering right now. It's not like too bad, but it's pick yourself up from your bootstraps.
The ladder being put down.
Sometimes don't listen to the narrative that you're even talking to yourself with, because I used to be in this negative mindset, and I still have a ton of negative thoughts. I just don't talk about them anymore. I don't voice them. I don't give them any power. I watch them and I let them go.
Dude, we all do. I go through the exact same. It's funny, like the ups and downs is you really can't appreciate the happy days without the sad ones.
For sure.
Right?
For sure. I mean, but if people are like in it, it's really hard to get out of it, So how do you get out of it? I mean, you just have to take an invitation. And the invitation could be 10 minutes of this podcast, The invitation could be calling somebody, telling a loved one that, hey, I'm not too proud to say, but I need some fucking help. I had to ask for help. And then when I asked for the help, I had to take it. I had to get on the plane to go to Denver to do the thing, and then I had to go back and integrate into my life. And you have to want it. Yeah. Some people that, reach out and that we've talked to, when I was in AA, it's like my sponsor was always like, hey, if you need to go and do some more market research, go ahead. Go and buy some more opiates. I just don't discriminate from me to the domestic violence. Could be a male, could be a female, because it happens on both sides, more so with women, obviously. Could be the veteran, could be the car accident victim. They should all be treated. We should, we should all be treated the same. And I hope that, like, with, the platforms that we have, et cetera, like, I've always talked like that. It's always, I don't care what arena you got it in, anybody can go and seek this out. The way that I got better was with $10 worth of fucking mushrooms, man. So don't, that's one of the ways that you could get better.
Yeah, but again, like, I think that your personal willpower and determination were also, you had to want those things and want to get better. And I don't know if a lot of people are going to possess that same level of discipline that maybe you would. So that's why maybe I think that
we all have it, though.
I'm sure we all do, but maybe not to the same degree. And I think that's why having these centers and having the 96 hours of talk therapy and having those MDMA sessions, like, I think that's going to be impactful for a lot of people.
I agree with you. But I would always preface, I just don't agree with that statement.
No, you need room for both, dude. It's not one or the other.
Yeah. No, I mean the human being thing of, like, I don't think that some people possess this type of discipline that you, obviously not to the degree, because I fucking trained myself, but I think that everybody wants to feel good. And I feel like if you throw them a lifeline, like we are with taking our time, we're not getting paid for this. We're just having a conversation, and hopefully somebody hears it and it sparks something in somebody to get up and make the decision to make a change in their life. Yeah. And it's that simple. And it could stop right there, Yeah,
100%.
Yeah.
Let's,
what else we got?
Listen, I think we should probably touch on the situation in Europe and the Middle East. Wiz and I were having a really, impactful conversation when we were at the hangar. And, dude, we just got out of a 20-year war over there. Think about that. 20 years we were over there, and now it looks like we're going back in there. So, like, we talk about these rates of PTSD and depression and reintegrating back into society. Dude, like, I mean...
What's the answer, though? So I saw a pretty cool interview last night with Tucker Carlson and Vivek, the billionaire.
Vivek. Rhymes with cake.
I love cake. Oh, not really.
That's what he says all the time.
Oh, he does?
People. Yeah, I love it.
He's got great hair. His thing was like, why? Like, just give me 5 more minutes. Just give me a reason why. And then with the why, give me the answer to like, oh, yeah, we won.
What is winning?
I don't know. That's the question, though. Like, I don't
Is
know
it
what
10,000 people killed, 100,000 people killed.
Well, no. What he was saying is like rounding up the 100 Hamas individuals that were responsible for that and fucking wiping them off the earth. That's a win. I'm like, yeah.
But what are the costs associated with going to get those fucking psychopaths? Like, that's...
I mean, there's already been a lot of lives lost.
I know,
Yeah.
but is that 100 IDF soldiers, U.S. soldiers, UN? I mean, like, there's a cost to pay to going and getting those things.
I just, again, I don't know enough, and I never talk about things that I don't know about. That would be my question, is just like, all right, first of all, if somebody did that to you in your country, you know, well, first off, take responsibility for fucking up. The Israeli government definitely fucked up, as I read it, right?
I don't know. I'm not educated enough to...
He admitted it in an interview. He admitted it, right? That they failed their people because usually they have like their security, armed security all the time. And they've been, you know, apparently...
they were in the middle of a holiday, though.
Okay. But, I mean, there's been holidays before. Yeah. You know? So, and he, you know, they admitted this. So, I mean, I guess he's already taken some level of accountability, but...
Yeah,
I don't know, man.
The human capital cost, dude, just between Ukraine and Russia and Israel and Palestine, like, dude, like, they're all like human beings there that are just living their lives, trying to raise their families, go to work, and like, think about how fucking wild that is. And then just the cost that's going to be associated with that from a human capital perspective. Like, we talk about healing people at home, like a lot of healing that needs to be done in a lot of different places.
Yeah.
You know, and we talk about access so much, and that's one of the big themes of why we started HRT. And I wonder what that looks like on a global scale. It's going to be interesting to see how this grows here and how this becomes, quote unquote, commercialized in our neck of the woods. I wonder what that's going to look like in other places.
Well, I mean, I guess you should preface all of this with saying, I mean, well, the images I saw were barbaric, like pretty wild.
Animals, dude.
And so I don't care what nationality you are. If people did that to anybody that I know or love, and there's a lot of people that I know and that I love that have family there, etc., regardless of the nationality, a big part of me is like, dude, you gotta eradicate those type of fucking people. And you have to make it very fucking public. And you have to make an example of them. And you have to try to minimize the amount of innocent lives lost as you go and get that. But goddamn, you have to fucking go and get that. You have to.
Yeah.
So that's all I know. That's all I'll say.
Yep. I'm just worried about the, God, dude, men and women coming home. It's going to be a lot more trauma to deal with, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. That's collateral.
Yeah.
Collateral for sure.
To finish this out, ladies and gentlemen, come and see us at the hangar in Pompano. We're looking for donors every single day. Help save some of these lives from these people that were just in the 20-year war in the Middle East. We're going to have a lot more people to treat. Look out for HRT. We have some exciting announcements coming soon. Look out for the microdoses. No Fallen Heroes collaboration. It's going to be sick. What else?
Some nice aftercare.
And what do you got to close us down with?
I am just, feeling pretty grateful that we have the opportunity to have a platform to speak about our thoughts, and they might not always be right. They're probably not a lot of the time, but
Definitely not.
yeah, but just, just grateful to try to continue to raise awareness, man, for both Wizzy's Foundation, for the veteran community, and for our mission of trying to provide as much healing as we can to people.
And on the No Fallen Heroes website, we're going live very soon. Come get yourself a flight suit. Come get yourself a hat. Come get yourself some sick new T-shirts by Mental Joe. Big shout out there.
Yeah, buddy.
Listen, I get it. Everybody can't donate thousands of dollars to go fly around in a jet, but you can buy some really cool shit and make a big impact with where you're spending your money if you can't do that.
Absolutely. Thanks, everybody, for listening.
You're going to hit them with the namaste?
Namaste. What's the other one?
I have no idea.
What's the other one? Namaste. Basi basi. Until next time.
Work.